What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Not Dumb Money. I bought some Nvidia stock last week. It's been on my watch list for so long. Better late than never, I guess. And in today's video, I'll walk you through my thought process on why I am now long Nvidia. But first, YouTube's analytics are telling me that more than 90% of my views are coming from non-subscribers. Come on, guys, show me some love. Please subscribe. That'd be awesome. I'd love you forever. Do it. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Nvidia. Nvidia was founded in 1993 by Jensen Huang, a microprocessor designer at AMD, Chris Malachowski, an electrical engineer at Sun Microsystems, and Kurt Preem, who also worked at Sun Microsystems as a graphics chip designer. Jensen Huang is actually Nvidia's president and CEO today. The three founders believed, back in 1993, that accelerated or graphics-based computing is the future. Man, were they right. They thought that video games, in particular, presented a unique challenge. They believed video games would be huge, but computational challenges would impact their development. The founders put together $40,000 and Nvidia was born. Well, they didn't have a name for the company when they started. They were going with NV at the time, NV as in next version. Then, that led them to Nvidia, the Latin word for envy. They later raised $20 million of venture capital. They used the money for research and development, solving significant computational problems for video games. They released the Revia TNT in 1998, which helped grow their reputation as a strong developer of graphics cards. In 1999, Nvidia became a public company. That same year, they released the GeForce 256, and that was a game changer, outperforming all of the existing products at the time. This helped Nvidia win a contract to develop the graphics hardware for Microsoft's Xbox. In 2000, they released the GeForce 2 GTS. Starting in 2002, Nvidia went on a shopping spree. They acquired 3DFX, a 3D graphics technology company, and XLuna, which made software rendering tools. In 2003, they acquired MediaQ, and in 2004, they acquired iReady. In 2004, it was announced that Nvidia would help Sony with the design of the graphics processor for the PlayStation 3. In 2005, Nvidia acquired ULI Electronics, and in 2006, they acquired Hybrid Graphics. That same year, the U.S. Department of Justice issued subpoenas to Nvidia regarding possible antitrust violations. That didn't slow them down. In 2007, they acquired Portal Player. That same year, Forbes named Nvidia Company of the Year. A few years later, and a few more acquisitions later, Nvidia released the Turga 3 ARM. In 2011, a system on chip for mobile devices. Oh, in that same year, they bought Icera, a British baseband chip company, for $367 million. In 2013, they unveiled the Tegra 4, as well as the Nvidia Shield. The Nvidia Shield was an Android-based handheld game console. They continued their shopping spree that year and bought PGI. In 2016, Nvidia released the first GPUs from the GeForce 10 series. The Nvidia Titan V was released in 2017, and in 2018, they released the Nvidia Quadro GV100. That same year, Google said that it will use Nvidia graphics cards in its Google Cloud artificial intelligence platform. More shopping in 2019, and their acquisitions were getting larger. They bought Mellanox Technology, a data center company, for $6.9 billion. That same year, they announced their first laptop, the RTX Studio. Claims at the time were that the laptop was 7 times faster than a top-end MacBook Pro. And just a few months ago in May, Nvidia announced their Ampere GPU microarchitecture in the Nvidia A100 GPU accelerator. In July, reports came out that Nvidia was in talks with SoftBank to buy ARM, a UK-based chip designer, for $32 billion. Okay, we're in the present now. Today, Nvidia operates through two main segments, graphics and compute and networking. Their key markets are gaming, professional visualization, data centers, and automotive. In their latest quarterly earnings, they easily beat estimates. Their revenue for the quarter, helped by the acquisition of Mellanox, increased 50% to $3.9 billion. The acquisition of Mellanox adds $1.4 billion in high-margin annual revenue. And for the first time ever, Gaming wasn't their largest revenue driver. The data center segment generated 45% of revenue. Gaming generated 43% of revenue. Even without Mellanox, their revenue increased 26%. Across their two main segments, graphics generated $2.09 billion in revenue, about 54%, and compute and networking generated $1.78 billion in revenue. Market data has been positive too. Spending on video games grew 30% year on year to a record $11 billion. More than 100 different laptop models equipped with Nvidia GeForce's GPUs were launched last quarter. Gaming companies release new games that support RTX ray tracing. Nvidia believes it has a 2-year lead in ray tracing technology, and with the rise of RTX-enabled games such as Minecraft and Cyberpunk, that's great news for Nvidia. Revenue from their smaller segments were down last quarter, understandably. Professional visualization generated $203 million in revenue, down 30%, and automotive revenue of $111 million was down 47%. However, those two segments combined are just 8% of revenue, and I think they'll recover at some point. Nvidia has a strong balance sheet. They have almost $11 billion in cash even after the acquisition of Mellanox. Debt is just under $7 billion. They have a strong and growing operating cash flow. Cash flow from operations was $4.76 billion last year. Although some might be concerned that their debt is growing due to their acquisitions, Nvidia has a current ratio of more than 6 times. Their margins are very, very solid, with a gross margin of 62.8% and a profit margin of 25.9%. They pay a tiny dividend, about 0.1% yield, but I honestly don't give this much thought. Dividends is not the reason I invested in Nvidia. Alright, so earnings were great, but let me tell you why I think it's a buy given where the stock price is right now. After all, that's what matters, right? Does Nvidia's stock price represent good value? Well, if you look at the typical ratios, you might say it's overvalued. Almost 100 times PE, 24 times sales, 68 times free cash flow, the insanity. However, Nvidia has grown earnings by an average of 32% over the past 5 years. And although analysts expect it to grow by an average of 17% annually over the next 5 years, I think Nvidia has a chance to seriously outperform current estimates. Not only has Nvidia outperformed the market this year and years in the past, we're still at the early stage of more data centers, autonomous vehicles, gaming, and professional visualization. There is plenty of growth opportunity left, and Nvidia is in the driver's seat. Analysts have price targets that range from $450 to $600, but I think most of these analysts will keep revising their price targets upward after every earnings announcement. Many have told me to wait for a pullback before buying Nvidia stock, but I won't try to time the market. I buy and hold with a long-term view. I think that with a long-term view, market cycles don't matter as much. All in all, I think we live in the age of artificial intelligence, deep learning, and GPU-driven applications, and Nvidia is front and center. Oh, and gaming is exploding, and Nvidia can be a big part of that story too. It had to be in my portfolio. And we're done. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of Nvidia? Are you bullish? Do you think the stock is too expensive? Are you waiting for a pullback? Please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. As always, it's been a pleasure. Much love. Peace.